All right, welcome to another deep dive. I know you're all busy second-year HR students over at Princess Nura University, and we're so excited to have you here with us for this
Absolutely.
deep dive into Chapter 3 of your first ever HR management course.
It's a good one.
It is. It is. Now, we know you've already tackled those first two chapters, getting your feet wet with
The basics.
the intro to HR management.
Right.
And then, of course, that all-important job analysis and talent management process.
Super important stuff.
Look-
Laying the groundwork.
Absolutely. But Chapter 3, this is where things get really interesting.
Yeah.
It's where we're going to turn you...
It's into recruiting rock stars.
Exactly. Get ready to, ace those exams and impress those professors.
Yeah.
And maybe even land yourself a dream internship on one of those amazing Vision 2030 projects.
Yeah. Who wouldn't want to work on one of those?
Right here in Riyadh,
Right.
Think about it, those incredible new metro lines, those futuristic skyscrapers popping up everywhere,
Oh, absolutely.
those vibrant new entertainment districts.
Yeah.
It's all happening.
Riyadh's booming, and they're going to need a lot of talented people to make it all happen.
Exactly. And that's where you come in, right?
Yeah.
So Chapter 3, it all starts with this idea of personnel planning. Now, I'll be honest, when I first...
I know what you mean. It sounds a little...
Yeah, a little dry, right? Like something only those super serious, HR managers with...
tucked away in their office with spreadsheets kind of thing.
Exactly. But then I started thinking about it, right? Like those massive Vision 2030 projects we were just talking about.
Yeah.
You wouldn't even attempt to build something as complex as, let's say, the King Abdullah Financial District
Oh, no way.
without a solid plan for your workforce.
Not a
really.
chance. It's like trying to build a house without a blueprint,
Exactly. You've got to have architects, engineers, construction workers, project managers, all those different roles, all with...
And all those people need very specific skills and expertise.
Precisely.
Hmm.
So personnel planning, it's like creating that blueprint for your team,
Yeah.
making sure you've got the right people in the right roles at the right time to make those projects a success.
Exactly. And that's why all that job analysis stuff you cover in Chapter 2,
Oh, it all comes together now.
it's super important,
Yeah.
right? Because it helps you figure out all the ingredients you need for your recipe.
I love that analogy.
Right, like what tasks need to be done, who's responsible for what, and what skills are absolutely essential for each position.
Okay, so give me an example. Let's say we're building one of those high-tech research centers.
Oh, like for NEOM.
Exactly, for NEOM. Our personnel plan would need to account for all sorts of specialized roles.
Yeah, like data scientists, robotics engineers, AI specialists.
Roles that might not even have existed a few years ago.
Exactly. That's why you got to be thinking ahead, anticipating those skills you'll need, not just today, but in the future.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense, especially for those big leadership roles.
Right. And that brings us to another key concept, succession planning.
Succession planning. Okay, now that sounds a little,
A little dramatic.
a little dramatic, like something out of a royal family saga, like who's next in line for the throne?
Right. Who's going to inherit the kingdom?
Exactly.
Well, maybe not quite that dramatic.
Okay, good.
But it is about thinking ahead. Identifying and developing potential candidates within your organization who could step into those key leadership roles down the line when they're needed.
Ah, okay. So it's like having a backup quarterback ready to go.
Exactly. Making sure the project keeps moving forward smoothly no matter what happens.
So it's like essential for these huge Vision 2030 projects that will take years and years to complete.
Absolutely. They need strong leaders who can guide them through every stage, even if, someone retires or moves on to a different project.
So let's say the Riyadh Metro, right? It's a massive multi-year project.
Oh, yeah.
You need to ensure there's always someone ready to take the lead, right?
Absolutely. That's succession planning in a nutshell, making sure the project never misses a beat.
So we've got our personnel plan in place. We've identified our key players.
Okay.
Now it's time for the fun part, right?
Yeah, the hunt for talent begins.
Exactly. This is where we get to put on our detective hats and dive into the recruiting funnel.
I love it. So imagine you're a detective,
Okay.
and you're sifting through clues, following leads, all to uncover those hidden gems.
Those perfect candidates.
Exactly. But just like a good detective, you need a strategic approach.
Okay, so what's our strategy?
Well, this is where the recruiting yield pyramid comes in. It's this visual tool that helps you understand all the stages of recruiting and how many candidates you need at each stage to hit your hiring goals.
We actually have a really cool diagram of this in our textbook, Figure 5.5.
Oh, yeah.
It shows this whole pyramid concept.
It's a classic.
And I was actually really surprised to see how many potential candidates you might need to end up with just a handful of hires.
Yeah, the ratios can be a little crazy. But think about it. Let's say you're trying to staff that incredible new luxury hotel that's opening in Diriyah.
Okay.
And they need, let's say, 50 entry-level positions filled. We're talking about potentially needing to reach out to thousands of leads to get to those 50 hires.
Thousands. Wow, that's a lot of people.
Yeah, it's a big funnel.
So why so many? Why is that ratio so high?
Well, not every lead is going to be a good fit,
Right.
right? Some people might not meet those basic requirements.
Right.
Others might realize the job's not actually what they're looking for.
And then, you got the interview process itself,
Of course.
which further narrows down the pool, based on skills and experience and how they fit into the company culture.
Exactly. And even then, you'll have some candidates get other offers or decide to go in a different direction.
So it's like a funnel,
Yeah.
You start wide and gradually narrow down to those most qualified candidates.
Exactly. And just like those project managers are meticulously tracking progress on those Vision 2030 projects, you've got to monitor your recruiting metrics at each stage of that funnel. See where you might be losing candidates and make adjustments to your strategy.
So like if you're losing a lot of people after the initial screening, maybe you need to tweak your job description a little.
Or maybe target a different group of applicants.
Yeah, it's all about using data to your advantage.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we've got to figure out where to find these potential candidates in the first place.
Right. Big question. Do you focus on promoting from within your organization,
All right.
or do you go searching for fresh talent externally?
That's the classic dilemma, right? Internal versus external recruiting.
Every HR professional faces this. What are the benefits of each approach, and how do you know which one is the right fit for your situation?
Such good questions. So let's start with internal recruiting. What are the advantages there?
Well, the biggest one is that you already know your internal candidates. You understand their work ethic, their strengths, and you know how well they mesh with the company culture.
Yeah, you've seen them in action, right?
Exactly. And promoting from within, that's a fantastic way to boost morale and loyalty among your employees.
It's like saying, hey, we believe in you, we see your potential, and we want to invest in your growth within our company.
Exactly. It's a huge motivator. And, think about a project like the Red Sea Project. They're developing these amazing, sustainable tourism destinations.
Yeah.
Promoting from within can really help maintain the project's vision and values over time.
Because they already get it, right?
Yeah.
They already invested in the project's success.
Exactly. So how do companies handle internal recruiting? Do they just send out a mass email saying, hey, we've got some open positions, anyone interested?
I mean, not...
It's a little more structured than that, thankfully. Common methods include job posting systems,
Okay.
where open positions are advertised on internal platforms like company intranets or bulletin boards.
Right.
And skills inventories, which are basically databases that track the skills and experience of everyone already working at the company.
So it's like a talent matchmaking tool.
Exactly. You can search for employees who have the specific skills and qualifications you need for those open roles, even if they haven't actively applied.
Okay, that's pretty cool. So internal recruiting can uncover some real hidden gems.
Absolutely. But it's not always the answer. Sometimes you need to bring in fresh perspectives, specialized expertise that you might not have in-house. That's where external recruiting comes in.
Okay, so let's step outside the company walls now and explore the world of external recruiting. What are some of the go-to sources that companies use to find those talented outsiders?
Well, the landscape has definitely changed with the rise of the internet and social media. Online platforms like LinkedIn have become absolutely essential for reaching a massive pool of potential candidates.
LinkedIn is like the digital marketplace for talent these days, right? It's hard to imagine recruiting without it.
It's incredibly powerful. But don't discount those traditional methods entirely, especially for certain types of roles or if you're focusing on local hires, newspaper ads, job fairs, industry events.
It's word of mouth, right?
Absolutely. Sometimes the best candidates come from personal recommendations.
It's good to have that mix of approaches.
Definitely. And then there are the more specialized options. Temporary agencies, for example, can be a great way to fill short-term needs.
Okay.
While executive recruiters, sometimes called headhunters, specialize in finding those high-level executives with a very particular set of skills and experience.
So if we're talking about like finding a CEO for a new tech startup in the King Abdulaziz City for Science and Technology.
That's a mouthful.
It is. But you might need to call in a headhunter for that, right?
Probably. They've got the networks and the know-how to find those needle in a haystack candidates.
It's amazing how much the talent pool has expanded,
Hmm.
especially with the rise of remote work.
Oh, absolutely. You could be recruiting for a project right here in Riyadh,
Okay.
but your ideal candidate might be working from Dubai, London, you name it. The possibilities are endless.
It's incredible, but I can also see how it can feel a little overwhelming,
Oh, yeah.
both for the recruiters and for us, job seekers.
It's a lot to navigate.
Yeah, it is. It is.
And that's something we're going to dig into much deeper in the next part of our deep dive. We'll explore the challenges of online recruiting and how to stand out in this competitive landscape.
That's perfect.
It's a whole new world out there.
Because I know firsthand it can be really tough to make your application stand out in that sea of online submissions.
Oh, tell me about it. But don't worry, we've got some great tips and strategies to share with you. So stay tuned. We'll be back soon to continue this fascinating journey into the world of talent acquisition.
Can't wait. Welcome back, everyone. Now, before the break, we were talking about all the possibilities in recruiting these days, especially with everything moving online.
It really has changed the game, hasn't it?
It has, but I've got to say, as someone who's, applied for internships online, it can be tough to stand out in that sea of applications.
Oh, absolutely. It's a double-edged sword, right? Online platforms open up these incredible opportunities for companies and job seekers, but they've also created this intense competition and a feeling of like information overload.
Exactly. And I bet it's just as challenging on the recruiter's side, right?
Yeah.
Trying to sift through hundreds, maybe even thousands of applications to find those perfect matches.
Oh, it definitely is. It's not enough to just post a job description anymore and hope for the best. You need a real strategy to cut through the noise and attract those right candidates.
Hmm.
Think about it this way.
Oh, okay, I'm listening.
Imagine you're recruiting for a high-profile project like Qidia.
Oh, wow, that entertainment city they're building outside Riyadh.
Exactly. Massive project. And you're looking for creative, passionate individuals who can bring this ambitious vision to life.
Okay, yeah, that's like a dream project for any HR professional.
Yeah.
So how do you make sure your job posting actually stands out to the right people?
First things first, you got to ditch those generic shrunken want ads. You know, those dry lists of requirements and responsibilities.
Oh, yeah, those are the worst.
They just won't cut it. Your job descriptions need to be engaging, almost like a mini marketing campaign for the role.
Okay, so instead of just saying, like, must have excellent communication skills, you might say something like, we're looking for a storytelling guru who can captivate audiences and bring our brand to life.
Exactly. Paint a picture of the role, the company culture, the impact the person will have. Make it exciting. Highlight those unique opportunities that come with working on a project like Qidia, the chance to be part of something groundbreaking, to collaborate with the best in the industry, to really learn and grow.
It's about selling the experience, not just listing tasks.
You got it. And the same goes for your online presence as a company. Your website, your social media, your LinkedIn page, all of it needs to reflect your brand, your values.
Yeah, I've definitely noticed that those companies that really showcase their culture and their people,
It makes a difference.
they tend to be way more appealing. It gives you a real sense of what it would actually be like to work there.
Exactly. And speaking of appealing, remember those job applications I mentioned. Make sure yours are user-friendly. A long, complicated application process is a major turnoff for candidates.
Oh, tell me about it. I once spent an hour filling out an online application, only to have the system crash and lose all my data. I almost gave up on applying altogether.
I can imagine. That's why it's so important to streamline that process, make it as easy as possible for people to apply. Mobile-friendly applications, clear instructions, simple formatting, it all makes a difference. And from a recruiter's perspective, invest in a good applicant tracking system.
An ATS, we touched on that briefly earlier.
Right, right. And ATS basically helps you manage that flood of applications efficiently. You can organize candidates, track their progress, screen resumes, even automate parts of the process. Some systems even use AI to match candidates with jobs based on skills and experience.
Wow, okay. That sounds like a game changer, especially when you're dealing with thousands of applications.
Oh, it can definitely save you a lot of time and headaches. Now, let's flip the script for a moment and think about it from the applicant's perspective. What advice would you give to students like yourself who are trying to stand out in this crazy online job market?
That's a great question. I know firsthand how intimidating it can be to put yourself out there. So what can students do to make their applications shine?
First and foremost, Tailor your resume and cover letter to each specific job you apply for. Really highlight those skills and experiences that are most relevant to that role and use keywords that match the language in the job description.
So no more generic resumes that you blast out at every company.
Exactly. Take the time to research each company, each position, and make it crystal clear why you're a good fit. Think about what you can bring to the table that's unique.
Okay, what else?
Don't underestimate the power of networking. Connect with people in your field, attend industry events, reach out to recruiters and hiring managers on platforms like LinkedIn.
So it's all about building relationships, making those connections.
Absolutely. Networking can open doors that you might not even know exist. And finally, be patient and persistent. The job search can be a marathon, not a sprint. Don't get discouraged if you don't hear back right away. Just keep refining your approach.
That's such great advice. I think a lot of students, myself included, get so caught up in the online aspect of applying that we forgot about the importance of building those real-life connections.
It's a common mistake. But remember, at the end of the day, recruiting is all about people. It's about finding those individuals who are not only skilled and qualified, but who also share your company's values and are passionate about the work they do.
Speaking of passion, let's talk about attracting top talent. We've talked about standing out online, but how do you make your company, your project, the one that everyone wants to be a part of? Especially when you're competing with those exciting Vision 2030 projects that are transforming Saudi Arabia.
That's a great question. It goes beyond just having a slick website or a catchy job description. It's about building a company culture and a brand that attracts the best and brightest. Think of it this way.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
Imagine you're leading HR for a company involved in developing the Diriyah Gate project. This massive development that's restoring a historic district and creating this vibrant cultural destination.
I've heard about that.
It's amazing, right? And you're not just looking for people who can do the job. You're looking for people who are inspired by the project's mission, people who want to be a part of something truly special.
That makes sense. So how do you create that kind of appeal?
Well, it starts with understanding your target audience. Who are the ideal candidates for your company and your projects? What are their motivations, their values, their aspirations? Once you understand that, you can tailor your message and your approach accordingly.
So it's like marketing, but for talent.
Exactly. You need to sell the opportunity just like you'd sell a product or a service. And a classic marketing formula, AIA, can be incredibly helpful here.
The IA. That sounds familiar. Didn't we learn about that in our marketing class?
You probably did. It stands for attention, interest, desire, and action. It's a framework for creating persuasive messages that guide people through a journey from awareness to action. And it applies perfectly to recruiting.
Okay, I'm starting to see the connection. So how do you use AIDA to attract top talent?
Let's break it down. First, you need to grab their attention. This is where your job postings, your website, your social media, all of it comes into play. It needs to be visually appealing, use language that resonates with your target audience.
So if I'm trying to recruit, let's say, software developers for a tech startup,
Okay.
I might use bold graphics, showcase cutting-edge technologies, and highlight the fast-paced, innovative culture.
Exactly. Next, you need to spark their interest. This is where you showcase what makes your company and this particular role unique. Talk about the projects you're working on, the impact you're making, the opportunities for professional development and advancement.
Show them why they should care.
Right. Then you need to build desire. This is where you highlight the perks and benefits of working for your company, but it's also about tapping into those intrinsic motivators. Talk about your company culture, your values, the sense of purpose employees will feel working on your projects.
So it's not just about salary and benefits. It's about making them feel like they're a part of something bigger.
Exactly. And finally, you need to prompt action. Make it clear what you want them to do next. Visit your website, apply for the job, connect with you on LinkedIn.
Make it easy for them to take that next step. It seems like AIDA is all about creating a compelling narrative that really resonates with potential candidates.
You got it. It's about telling a story that makes them say, I want to be a part of that.
But it's not just about words, right? Actions speak louder than words.
Oh, absolutely. Your company's overall reputation, your commitment to social responsibility, the way you treat your employees, these all play a role in attracting top talent.
So it's a holistic approach. It's about creating an environment where people feel valued, respected, and inspired to do their best work.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And when you can do that, you'll be well on your way to building a world-class team that can achieve anything.
This has been so insightful. I'm really starting to see the bigger picture of recruiting now. It's not just about filling positions, it's about finding the right people who can help your company thrive and make a real difference.
Exactly. And that brings us to a crucial question. What if you were in charge of recruiting for one of these incredible Vision 2030 projects?
Whoa, okay, now you're speaking my language.
Mhm.
I can already picture myself, leading the HR team for something like the Red Sea Project,
Oh,
or
wow.
maybe even NEOM,
Ambitious.
that futuristic city they're building. It's incredible.
It is.
But where would I even begin? It just feels like such a massive undertaking.
It's true. These projects are on a grand scale, but the principles of good recruiting, those stay the same. You'd start by defining the specific needs of the project. Which roles are absolutely essential, what skills and qualities those roles require. Just like we talked about earlier, job analysis, that's your foundation.
So if I'm building a team for NEOM, I need to think about the unique challenges of creating a sustainable city from scratch.
Wow.
I need experts in renewable energy, urban planning, smart technology,
Of course.
maybe even like some futurists to anticipate what life might look like in a city like NEOM.
Exactly. You'd need to assemble a team with a diverse range of expertise, but also people who are passionate about innovation, sustainability, and really pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
It's not just filling slots on an org chart. It's about finding those individuals who will really thrive in this environment and contribute to the project's success.
You got it. And once you have a clear understanding of those roles, the types of people you're looking for, then you can develop your recruiting strategy. This is where you decide which recruiting methods to use, what your message is going to be, how you'll reach your target audience.
Okay, so I might use a combination of online platforms like LinkedIn, maybe some targeted ads in industry publications, perhaps even partnerships with universities to attract recent graduates with those cutting-edge skills.
That sounds like a great start. And remember the importance of building relationships. Attend industry conferences, connect with thought leaders, network with potential candidates. These projects attract global talent, so you gotta think globally in your approach.
Yeah, those personal connections can really give you a competitive edge. It's not just about finding candidates, it's about building a network of talented individuals who are excited about the project's vision.
Exactly. And remember, recruiting is ongoing. It never really stops. Even once you've assembled your initial team, you need to be constantly thinking about future needs, developing those talent pipelines. Just like those Vision 2030 projects are constantly evolving, so too will the workforce needed to bring them to life.
That's a great point. It's not just about filling immediate needs, it's about building a sustainable talent ecosystem that can support the project's long-term growth and success.
Well said. Think of it this way. The best recruiters are like architects of the future. They don't just fill positions, they build the teams that shape our world. And in a country like Saudi Arabia, where you have these ambitious projects like Vision 2030 reshaping the landscape, the role of the recruiter has never been more important.
Wow, that's a powerful image. It makes me even more excited to embark on my HR journey. I'm really starting to see that recruiting is more than just a job. It's a chance to make a real impact and contribute to something truly extraordinary.
And with the knowledge and skills you're gaining in this course, you'll be well equipped to do just that. Remember, every successful project, every groundbreaking innovation, every transformative initiative, it all starts with the right people. And as an HR professional, you have the power to find those people and bring their talents to the world.
This deep dive has been incredible. It's taken those concepts from the textbook and made them come alive, showing me the real-world possibilities of a career in HR. Thank you so much for guiding me through this.
It's been my pleasure. And remember, keep learning, keep exploring, and keep that passion for people at the heart of everything you do.
I will.
Okay.
And for anyone listening, if you're looking for a career that combines strategy, creativity, and the power to make a difference, look no further than HR. The future is waiting to be built, and we need talented individuals like you to help shape it.